Genesis chapter number 12, we'll start reading from verse 1. Genesis 12, we'll start reading from verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will what? Shew thee. Verse 2 now. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless you, and make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse him that curse you, and in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Anyways, if you ever have trouble with people trying to talk you down, don't forget verse 2. There is always verse 3, sorry. There is always a them that bless you before a him that curse you. So don't get blinded. There's always a them. Are you following me now? Now stay. What I want to teach you, very, very critical. And I hope that you will learn. And let me say this, there are certain things at this phase of my life that when I say for the record. I hope that whoever it is I'm talking to will take it. But at the same time, I say it and leave it there, because I know that the fellow can go to the north, east, west, and south. He will come back and say, God spoke that day. So pay attention. This is one of such nights. So we saw that God was starting something on the face of the earth, and he was separating a man for himself by the name Abraham. This man wasn't a Jew. The Jewish people don't even exist. He was a pagan. And for reasons best known to God, God sought him out and separated him. And the instruction about his calling is that he should be separated from his brethren. And then God didn't say go to so and so place. He said go to a land I will show you. If the picture is complete, it can't be faith. The pattern of faith is an Abrahamic pattern, and it is the pattern of uncertainty. Uncertainty sometimes can be the biggest proof that you are in the will of God. If you ever know everything you should do, then you don't need to wait on God. God will never put you in any position that you function without relying on him. One of the ways you know you have heard wrongly is that what you have heard doesn't require God to be fulfilled. So what God said, because we're going to see this in the life of Abraham as a pattern, what God said to him was, leave your father's house. It's certain where you are living, but it's not certain where you are going. So what that means is leave because of what you have heard, but you get to where you are going because of your ability to keep on hearing. Is that simple enough? All right. Now let's pay keen attention to the instruction or the instructions backing up the calling of this great patriarch Abraham. Number one, God said, I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and then you'll be a blessing. Number three, he said, I will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you, and in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Now these are very important things, but look at this, and I'm going to show you this without mincing word. Number one, God was separating this man, and the context of what God was telling him is that if anything will matter on the face of the earth, it will be because it came from your loins. Can I say that again? Are we Bible students? I need you to be able to receive this diet, or you can go back to being cornflakes and water, and you'll still be blessed. The sermon can change, and you go home and say it was fire, or you could have received more. What God was saying with Abraham is that I am narrowing my gaze, that the way for me to help the earth is to separate you unto myself. Then in you will all the families of the earth be blessed. So I want to do certain things, but I want to route it through you. So that means is I am raising you as a pattern of what my relationship with men looks like. Then not just a pattern, but also a patriarch. So what that means is, if there will be serious activities flowing on the earth, the place where meaning is Abraham. Now you must understand that the substance of this conversation is not just blessing. The substance of this conversation is the Christ. When he said, in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed, he's saying the Messiah will come, but I will do no otherwise except I bring him from your loins. Is that simple enough? Is it simple enough? All right. Now, what does that mean? It means there are people and there are people. Don't forget this one. It means everywhere we find ourselves, there are people that God has decided to route his purposes through. Now, if you let's look at the event that followed this event. For instance, if you look at Genesis chapter number 13, I might need help now. Thank you. Genesis chapter number 13. There was something happened when God told Abraham to leave his father's house and his mother's house to a land that he will show him. Abraham didn't live alone. He left with a young man called Lot. In Genesis 13, Lot had increased so much so that there was strife between the headmen of Lot and Abraham's headmen. Then when Abraham heard, there's a pattern there, but some other time, when Abraham heard it, he called Lot. He said, let there be no strife between me and you, between your headmen and my headmen. Abraham said, it's not the land plain before us. You choose anywhere you want to go to. Now, Lot that he was talking to came by chance. The one talking is the one that God called. So he had the right to say, I pick first. What did Abraham know that gave him the audacity to say, you pick first? It means he understands that it is not location, but him. If you ever see yourself fighting over things, you don't know the blessing. I have said, the secret is not in any place, but on the person. If you don't know what the blessing is, you leave Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and come to UK or go to the moon. We're already talking about interplanetary living. Go anywhere. You will live in frustration there at the level of their economy. If you ever see people who don't know God, but who are in developed countries, they are not happy either.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They are critical. They are bitter. They are confused. Money is their God. It governs them. It rules them. If you hear the way they talk, when they get something small, they are quick to look down on the patterns of Christianity.
Yes,
because even in the days they claimed to be hot, they were not hot because God is loved. They were hot because they had needs.
yes, sir.
And that's the danger of raising people in what I call need-based Christianity. The prayers, 9 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 48 hours of a believer who is built on need-based approach is nothing. The same energy is pulling there. He can pull the same energy in shrines. Because the idea of God he knows is provider. The idea of God he knows is protector. The idea of God he knows is the giver. So when he gets to places that you don't need prayer for provision to take place, you don't need prayer for security to take place, he trashed that God because he has not known God as Abba. Right now, some people have gone to London and people can almost live anywhere at any time. Am I correct? You can get up around 12 and say that you are taking, what do people call that bus? Night bus. Country what? Cross country. and say you are taking cross country to Sunderland or wherever it is you're going to, and you are not scared of anybody say, park there, all of you lie down. Is that okay now? Now I'm not saying that really happens where I'm coming from, but I'm not saying. No, see, you are left to think whatever you want to think. I came from the best place in the world, so go ahead. So, but I just understand that it's just best for me not to go out. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything will happen, but it's just still good. You know, I just won't feel like. And when it's daybreak too, you still check. So, if your concept of prayer and a prayer life is based on the need for protection, when you go to the place where you don't need that deity to protect you, you detach from him. The reason why people grow cold in the UK is because they have a government that provide what the version of God they were consulting was needed for. But God who sits in the heavens is bigger than what government can give. If you don't know his ability to give you more than what the government gives, you will need him for a while. And when you get the government, you will live at the level of the subject, then fizzle out. I'm saying many people's life has no meaning because the version of God they know is the provider, the healer, the helper. So they need problem to be on fire. And problems you will have, for his mercies endures forever. If problem is what fuels your consecration, then it means you are saying the only way to be sane spiritually is to have what? Problem. Because that's the version that we know. There are people who won't pray until they are sick. There are people who won't pray until someone tells them that I will kill you. When was the last time someone looked at you and told you I will kill you? You don't look like one who has heard it. Am I correct? I've heard it. And I've heard it again and again. I've casted out demons from people, and the spirit will say, I will make sure I kill you. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadows of the Almighty. You don't go argue and say, no, you can't keep that, you can't keep that, keep. I treat all those threats like, imagine a 5-year-old boy. Say, Apostle, say, yes, I'll kill you. Say, come go and sit down. Or you have to go and investigate. What did you eat? Is it vegetable? Who made it? Is he looking? Go check. You can miss it. Go inside. So, Abraham said to Lot, pick anywhere. And the Bible said, Lot, please, I want the media to follow me with that scripture in Genesis 13. Looked at the well-watered plain of Sodom before it was destroyed. That is, look at it. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plains of Jordan, and it was well-watered everywhere before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Meaning that if he had just a bit of spiritual prophetic perspective, he will see the place in the prophetic nature. The reason why many of us are facing trouble in life is because we make choices like Lot. You can look at someone who is well watered. Are you with me? I want to say what I want to say without looking at your faces. You can leave a man who is at the last phase of his poverty for the one who is at the last phase of his wealth, if you choose by sight. It takes highest level of foolishness not to pray. You know why? It doesn't matter how sharp your eyes are, they can't see tomorrow. Why won't you consult the one who is there? That this looks pleasing, but are you there? So Lot said, I like that place. It's the audacity of Abraham to say, pick first. They that do know their God will be stronger. Now, look at the next statement there. Verse 11. And Lot chose him all the plains of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves from the other, one from the other. Yes. Now, Let me jump to verse 14. And the Lord said unto Abraham, after that Lot was separate from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and eastward and westward. Meaning that in the picture of the allocations of this place, Lot is not in the picture. You have done what you have done out of emotions, but still look again. That's what God was telling him. So you look, but God didn't say look while Lot was there. There are instructions you will not hear until you have been separated from your Lot. The Lot is the sukkah you brought around yourself, so that when God said jump, you will not hit the ground. The one that makes it easy. So God said, look from where you are, as far all the land that thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. Now, what God was simply saying, I want to do something on the face of the earth, and I cannot help humanity at once, except I start with a man, then make it a family, then a lineage, then tribes, then a nation, then back to a family, then back to a man. Let me explain. A man, Abraham, a family, Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, a lineage, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, then tribes, the 12 tribes, then back to a nation, okay, then back to a tribe, a family, Joseph and Mary, then back to a man, Christ. Why was it a dangerous thing for Esau to say to Jacob when Jacob said, give me your birthright? And Esau said, what is this birthright to me? Why did the book of Hebrews describe him as a fornicator? He said, lest anyone be like Esau, a fornicator, the profane, who for a morsel of bread forsook his birthright. Why was he referred to? Because in fornication there is exchange. So Esau said, what is this birthright to me? Now, what is the birthright? The birthright is actually the right to the blessing, but that's not it. The birthright is also the right to birth. That is the mainstream family. Now listen, people of God, let nobody deceive you. If you are going to do ministry well, if you are going to do life well, listen, there is mainstream. Yes, there is mainstream. God is a God of patterns. There's mainstream. Let's hold it there for a while. Okay? So, as Esau was eating that food, he was relinquishing the right to bet the men that will matter in the lineage of the Christ, and ultimately that the Christ will not be traced to his loins. As he was eating that meal, he was no longer qualified to bet men like David. He was no longer qualified to bet men like Moses. Daniel will not come from him. Isaiah and Obadiah will not be traced to him. That is, you will exist, but not in the mainstream. The mainstream is the place where the lens of God is narrowed to as the launching ground of his activity. It exists. I wish I can flog this again and again. And I'm telling you that even in ministry, it exists. For instance, you check the body of Christ across the world, you will see that majority of the people who are doing significant things in the activity of God on the face of the earth now, you keep hearing them mention a name. At least maybe 8 out of 10 will mention the name of the man Achan. Have you ever read the Bible and you see that names have been called? And Tola begat Dodo, and Dodo begat Eliu, and Eliu begat Elboa, and Elboa begat. And you keep hearing the word begat and begat and begat, and at a certain point it will get to a particular name, and it will look like they paused because there was a lot God could juice out of that life. And once that life is over again, it will go back to begat and begat, meaning that at certain points people only existed to be a part of the lineage of what God will do. What that means is God could not find any other thing useful in them except the womb to birth continuity. There's a way you will live your life that you will only be alive to bet who God will try to use. I think I'm in the wrong church.
No, sir.
Look at it now. God told Abraham, leave your father and house. When Abraham left with Lot, I need you to take time. Read Genesis 11, read Genesis 12. God did not say, I will make you a blessing again. He began to talk about his seed. You must pay attention to when God stopped talking about you and now start talking about those that will come from you. The question is, what about me? These things are subtle that you may not know when the vocabulary changes. It is your duty to know and pay attention to it. There's mainstream. There's the stream of flow of the activity of God upon the earth. What that means is that there are people that at some point in their life God found. And it looked like God made a vow that if anybody will matter in my activity, at some point they must encounter what is flowing from you, either as a book or impartation or messages. There are men that God gives. You hear about men like Archbishop Benson in the house. Now, let me say this to you. Pay attention now. It is not every great man that is Abrahamic. There are people who will be very great, but they did not. Can I talk to you?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? They did not develop the heart capacity to bear children. We don't rate Abrahamic spirit by size of church. The pattern you see with Abrahamic flow is he will command his children after me, meaning that he will have the largeness of heart to bet and nurture them. When you see a great house where children are not being nurtured, that's the house of churches. It is not generational. You can fight through and be great, but not have what it takes to be trusted with the next generation. But you will be great. Sit down. I wish you understand. No? Don't worry, hear it again and again. Okay? Are you with me? Yesterday I told you that the substance of fatherhood is experience with God. He said, I write to you fathers because you know him that is from the beginning. So, in every generation, there are people that God pulls aside and say, if I'm putting something on you, that something must flow from you, that it is when I see that thing, I will give people voices that can be heard. You asked for this. Let me explain. The focus of the entire Bible, are you aware that it was from it's God and his children, like we like to summarize? But everything you are reading practically focus on a lineage. When Cain went rogue, when Esau went to do what he wanted, they all gave birth and have their lineage. Sometimes you hear, right, for those of you who are from, most of us from Africa, there's been existence in Africa, even in the days of the Bible. People were existing. You have stories of events that took place thousands of years ago. Stories of old ancestors who have gone to rest and all those stories. They existing. While Jesus was on the face of the earth, there were people also existing side by side. Am I correct? But the focus of the Bible captures where the eyes of God was looking at. The Bible is the book of mainstream. That is, what you are reading here is God's attention. It's a salvific flow that began from Abraham. It will get to the Christ, then to the 12, then to the early church, then to the rest of the world. That's where we are captured. It's a cycle. So, When Esau despised his birthright, what did he do? He walked out of mainstream. Let me tell you something. There was a time I've been laboring, praying, fasting, studying, doing all sort of things. And one afternoon, God said to me in my room, He said, I want to bring you into the mainstream apostolic flow of your generation. So I said, yes, Lord. So he asked me and said, what do you have in your hands? I said, nothing, just my phone. He said, write with it, and I will cause it to spread till the ends of the earth. That was when you said you were seeing my writing. I have been writing before that day. After God said that, now I want to give you a graphical picture, and I don't want to look vain. Is that okay? The day God said that to me, that was years back, I had 573 people following my Facebook page. It was still on that chair I sat down to write. In 24 hours, what I wrote got to 10 million people. Your problem is not a rich, it is mainstream. Meaning that on the account of Abraham's obedience, God is saying, what I can trust will be what flowed from his loins. You must know how to identify mainstream patriarchs. Everyone who did ministry. Now, mainstream patriarchs are not perfect.